Welcome to Pastorpedia. I'm Newt Larson, and we're going to talk today about leaders. And everybody needs a leader, and where do you get them? Everybody needs men and women who are captains of the team along with you as the pastor or as other church leaders. So let's hit it, and the first question is going to be, where do you find leaders for the church and people who are strong players on the team? Jeff, how would you answer that directly?
I recruit them from Jim Brown's church. It's been very, very helpful. No, when I think about where we get leaders from and how do we recruit them, I'm looking for people who are involved and have bought into the vision. So I'm looking for people who are faithful, who are available, who are teachable, they're enthusiastic. When we ask them if you want to be involved in something, they've been kind of quick to volunteer. And we'll kind of start there and see who is doing it, who's doing it enthusiastically, and who's kind of rising to the top of those volunteer efforts. So that would be our start.
You know, one thing I always think about and watch, we're always watching and looking for leaders.
And everybody on staff is.
Yes.
Or should be.
Yeah, and one of the things I've noticed, and you guys have probably noticed too, but if you're in a room or setting and you ask someone a question, a leader will naturally speak up. A leader will rise to the occasion. So I'm always looking for that guy or that gal that is ready to take the lead, ready to answer, and ready to respond. It's the guy or gal that's sitting in a room and you put 5 or 6 together in a small group and someone says, hey, take this group, go discuss these questions. They can't sit there. Like, they have to naturally.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for that person too.
Yeah, I want to say something negative about leadership classes. And you guys can argue with me, though you'll be wrong. A lot of pastors rely only on take this leadership elective, like everybody that comes there is our next leader. It's got to be personal too, and
Absolutely.
we look for them in our discipleship groups, staff. Where else do you find leaders?
The leadership class idea is kind of good if you're trying to get some basic principles in, but I really think if you look at the scriptural model, it's the come with me kind of idea, and that's I think what Jim was saying, like they emerge. And then it's really as that person emerges, because some leaders will emerge and they're negative, right? And so it's not actually who you want in charge of what you want doing. So the come with me, or maybe even the class as a jumping on point, is a way that you can evaluate where they're at and what they're like. One of the things that I have done over the course of my ministry, I have always had a group of men that can gather broadly and interact with me.
Huge.
So I have right now, the present presentation of this is a Tuesday morning men's Bible study. And I open up the doors, we go through the Bible word by word, right? And all men are invited to that. So a bunch of guys come. It's not a discipleship group, it's a straight up Bible study. But in there, it's just a place where I start noticing, I start seeing, I start interacting. Then as I start noticing those people who emerge, like you were talking about, I might invite them to help me with a project, a short-term project. I might suggest them to one of the other staff. So that would be an example of a place. When I was a youth pastor, way back in the day, I would get the key boys in our youth group, and I would meet them on Tuesday mornings at one of the parents' house. But I wanted to invest in them because I wanted to lead them and then train them to lead under me. So it would start a place like that.
I want to hit the pulpit and say, yes, you got to have a pool of people that you see them and meet them, and don't just say, anybody in the church want to be a leader here.
And you got to be constantly emptying yourself of what you have and putting it into someone else, taking someone with you. Anytime I do something ministry-wise, I'm always thinking, who do I want to bring alongside of me and help me in this? Train them, pour into them, mentor them, and we have a variety of ways. One, we have a group of men that gathers. I have 43 men right now that are leading a group of men. They're leading 10 men, 43 men, and I'm overseeing these 43 men in our men's ministry Fight Club. So we're pouring into them, developing them, and out of that comes all kinds of leaders, just multiple leaders.
Yeah, huge. I do, we do, you do.
Yeah.
Keep passing it on. Okay, managing them, freeing them to do their own thing. Are they going to be lone rangers in the church? What's the balance between micro and macro and all that?
I think I'm not a micromanager. I've never have been. But I watch what they do. I give them a chance. I'll debrief with them. and I'll follow up with them. I'll give them input. If I see something going in a poor direction, I'm very much informed, but I'm involved. I'm available to them, and so that's one of the ways I like to operate with leaders.
Yeah, I look and I have a little saying: if you don't let leaders lead, they leave. So as you evaluate their abilities and their buy-in's a big deal for me. So I'm never going to beg a guy to lead. I'm never going to beg him, a man or a woman, anybody, to please, please, please do this for me. They have to have a bit of an internal drive. They may not know what to do. We can help with that. But if I'm talking you into doing it all the time, you're actually not a leader. Right?
And they don't last very long.
They don't last very long. Yeah. But when you strike on a real leader, if you micromanage them, you will drive them nuts, and they'll leave because they somehow can lead in the workplace, at the factory, or at the office, but they can't handle a project at the church. It's crazy. So I want to turn them loose after I've measured their buy-in. I want to turn them loose. I want to learn from them. I want to create an environment where they're giving me their ideas. I might be picking their brain. And now what will happen over time is they'll start leading with you and move things forward.
And free within boundaries.
Within boundaries, right? They got to be bought in.
You know, the other thing too is, Maxwell said it way before I'm saying it right now.
I said it for Maxwell.
You probably did teach him that. The law of the lid. Every leader's got a number. And the other thing too, if you're not constantly growing in your leadership, guys that have a number that wants to grow, they'll come up against, they'll leave. So you got to constantly be bringing your number up. If you're in a room and you're 1 to 10, if you're an 8, you have to have guys, they want to come up. You got to constantly be growing. If your number's a 5, a 6 and a 7, he'll leave.
You can't take people further than you're willing and able to.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely.
The law of the lid is huge.
It is. Marlene Wilson wrote a book on volunteerism. I think it's the best one. It's old now, but aren't we all? No, I mean just me.
Some, yeah.
She said leaders and volunteers stop doing their thing because they either are not thanked or didn't know exactly what they were supposed to do. Let's talk about thanking our leaders.
Every time you get a chance, whether it's, personally, I love walking the hallways, walking into offices, and just personally walking in. Not a text, I'll follow up with that, but go in and say, hey, I observe you do this, I watch you do this. I can't do this without you. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
And Sundays too?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I go up to people, I'll go up to worship leaders, I'll go up to greeters, I'll go up to people in the hallways, check in people, and say thanks. Hey, you're doing a great job. That means a lot to people.
Yeah, it's the thank you notes. It may be a volunteer appreciation dinner, but I think the thank you, the look you in the eye, I mean this, I'm grateful, I'm here with you. I think whenever possible, we shouldn't run into the room, do our thing, and leave. We should help clean up. And so it just values everybody along the way.
Hey, remember that, by the way. He's got to clean up around here.
Yeah, that's right. I have an appointment later, but it's not you serving me. It's us serving together. And so that thank you and this is the vision. By the way, spiritualize those opportunities. Pray together. Pray for the people that you're hoping will come to the event that they're helping to lead with. Just kind of surround all of that, but bring your volunteers into that process. And
even from the platform, I love doing it from the platform. You have a voice. We have a voice that's powerful.
Yeah.
I will say, this group of people, thank you. I look out and say, thank you. You did this week, and it's a powerful. When they get lifted up or encouraging a group of others too, it goes a long ways.
Absolutely.
Every size church can do it officially too, and in coaching churches, I see a lot that just kind of. It's easy to take them for granted, or a church of 100, and why would we have a thanks meal or something?
Yeah.
What can we do officially to thank the people? We just said it Sunday.
Yeah, that's a way. We had a volunteer leadership gathering together where we honored people. We went outside, we fed them. The pastoral staff and the wives fed them. And we stood in line, gave them ice cream and sandwiches. It was a big deal. They loved that. So we served them even that way.
So we've done things like that in the past. A lot of our thank yous are within the teams. So the children's ministry team, the staff there will lead that.
Yeah.
When we were a church of 100, I did most of this in my living room. And so come on over. Even today, even if you have a bigger church, an open house, but just we love you, we serve you.
Yeah.
I think is a big part of it. And just saying thank you, and we love you. We also have, as a bigger church, we have a few invitation-only events, and we call them a leadership summit or a leadership conference, and that's for your leaders and your volunteers. You're drawn in and you get what we call privileged and prior information. You know before the rest of the congregation what's going on at the church and where we're going. So all that just creates that team idea.
Even just saying their name in public. People, God gave them a name. I love acknowledging names of people. And I'll do it on social media. It's fun. They love it. They see you with them, or you took time on social media, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, or do a story on Instagram. They love it.
Watch athletic leaders like LeBron and other people. They're not just saying something in the locker room. They're saying it during the game.
Yeah. The press conference.
It's clear.
Yeah.
They're a part of a team.
You had to bring the Cavaliers into this, didn't you?
I did, Jim.
Yeah.
I did, Jim. Just submit. Well, think about it. The best leaders might come from your very circle of discipleship of men and other women in the church that help do that. We just say we need all kinds of people who serve with us. We're just one of the many, but we lead and are responsible for a way to develop other leaders. Think about it. Read the printed stuff, Leadership in the Church. With Jim and Jeff, I'm Newt, and we thank you.